Let's talk about this wild trade rumor that was floated out there that includes Amari Cooper and Brandon Aiyuk. A handful of viewers sent me it and asked my thoughts on it, so I thought, you know what? Let's kind of do a deep-ish dive on this rumor and this genre of rumors in general. So, the overall idea of Brandon Aiyuk and Amari Cooper being swapped really started, at least where I could find the original source, was NFL notifications. There are a handful of Twitter accounts out there, NFL notifications, ML football, NFL rooms, that kind of put out bullshit, to be honest with you. They connect dots that don't need connecting. So they see Amari Cooper is doing a holdout. Brandon Aiyuk is looking for an extension. And they decide to cook up their own idea of, we have heard that an Amari Cooper for Brandon Aiyuk trade may be an option for the Browns and 49ers. I don't know who the we is because they don't want to give their identity away. And they never, ever give a source. They never say, per so-and-so. So when I see this, I don't give it much weight, which is why this came out 2 days ago or yesterday, no, whatever it was. And I didn't talk about it because I didn't think it had much merit to it. But a handful of you were like, what do you think about this? So let's spend 10 or so minutes talking about it. There is a 0% chance we see an Amari Cooper for Brandon Aiyuk trade go down. I do like to see things in the NFL go sideways from time to time, and you get some wild, crazy trades and whatnot, but I don't think this is going to be a trade that we ever see come to fruition. So for those of you that want to see Brandon Aiyuk in Cleveland, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It ain't happening. And I don't see Amari Cooper getting traded to the 49ers or anywhere else for that matter. There is just a zero Bernie heads scale of believability given to this trade rumor floated out on the web. Now, we're going to talk about why that is the case and if it were to happen, because even though I say zero, this is the NFL, crazy stuff does happen from time to time, what it could look like. But if you want a shout out on tomorrow's episode, subscribe right now. Type me in the comments section below. That way I can find all the new subscribers and give you guys a shout out as we continue to give shout outs throughout the entire summer here at the Cleveland Browns Report. So let's kind of go back in time a little bit on this trade rumor. It all sort of started, by the way, some context from a TikTok that was posted by Jaden Daniels on phone with Brandon Aiyuk or vice versa. But on this FaceTime with Jaden Daniels, Brandon Aiyuk was somewhat frustrated and upset. Daniels said, "What happened, bro?" And Brandon Aiyuk said, "They said they don't want me back, I swear." And from there, we kind of have liftoff on, oh my gosh, the 49ers may very well trade Brandon Aiyuk. They don't want him. But Ian Rappaport was on NFL Network with the insiders and said, Brandon Aiyuk says the team doesn't want him, which they do, just not at his price. And that's very reasonable and understandable. Like, there is a difference between not wanting a player, period, which if that was the case, he would have been long gone at this point, right? They would have traded him before the draft when they could have gotten a lot more from him, right? You trade him after the draft. Now you get a pick that's for next year's draft, so you can't even use that selection to help your 2024 efforts. So I don't subscribe to the idea the 49ers don't want Brandon Aiyuk. They may not want him at $34 million a season, which it's hard to blame them for that. It's only 2 seasons of over 1,000 yards. That's quick to go. Let's make him the second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. But for you sickos that want to know, well, what if the Browns did trade for Brandon Aiyuk? Like, could they? Would they? What would it look like? Just take me down this Alice in Wonderland hole and tell me what it would possibly look like. Well, let's first start off by saying Brandon Aiyuk is a really good football player. If you don't keep up with the rest of the NFL very much, let me be the first to tell you he's really, really good. He started his career off kind of in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse, so to speak. Back-to-back seasons out of the gates where he wasn't bad. I mean, I'm not going to say 826 yards, 10 touchdowns through 2 years are underwhelming numbers. But then he really started to break out the final 2 years of his rookie contract leading into that fifth-year option. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, second-team All-Pro a year ago, 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns. Amari Cooper, by the way, who is half of this trade rumor, right? He's the guy going to San Francisco. He's also really, really good. Back-to-back 1,000-plus yard seasons, 14 combined touchdowns since coming to Cleveland. These are both really talented, really good wide receivers. Now, I'm not going to get into the argument of which one is a better wide receiver. I mean, one's 1A, one's 1B. They're both really good. Can't that just be the end of the discussion? Do we really need to pull hairs over which one is marginally better than the other? They're both freaking awesome. That's the answer when it comes to which one is better. Brandon Aiyuk, you got to give him credit, though. Being an all-pro wide receiver is extremely impressive. Being an all-pro wide receiver in an offense that ranks 32nd in pass attempts, now you put him in offense that throws the ball a little bit more than the 49ers did last year, and he could turn 1,300 yards into 1,600 yards. Like, he could put up ridiculous numbers with more usage. So give Brandon Aiyuk his flowers. He's really good. He's an ascending player in this league, and I can see how he can try and use that in leverage to get a big contract right now, a big extension from San Francisco. You look at the top 10 highest paid wide receivers in the league. Aiyuk, one of the younger wide receivers, looking to get a big payday before his fifth-year option is up. And I think he wants to be somewhere between Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson. I think he's hunting for north of $30 million a season. I think an extension for Brandon Aiyuk could look something like this. 4 years, $130 million in total. That's an average of $32.5 million. It's a little bit more than what A.J. Brown just got. Doesn't quite get him to Justin Jefferson numbers, but to be fair, no wide receiver should be at Justin Jefferson numbers right now because none of them are putting up the numbers like Justin Jefferson. So it makes him one of the highest paid non-quarterbacks in football. Only a 4-year contract, so it'll expire before he turns 30 years old, so he can double dip in free agency again before 30 and get another big contract. $90 million guaranteed, so it's basically a 3-year, $90 million contract from the 49ers perspective. So $30 million a season, not far off from where the average is. I think this is where Brandon Aiyuk will likely land in his inevitable extension, which I do believe will come from the 49ers in due time. But if you are curious about a trade, and you do subscribe to NFL notifications and believe their word is the word of God, I don't even know where to begin for what a fair trade would look like. I don't think it's a player-for-player swap. One, you hardly ever see player-for-player swaps. That's more of a baseball thing when it comes to like pitchers. NFL, you don't see it very often. I would believe that a pick would be going the 49ers' way. They would be giving up the younger wide receiver, the former All-Pro last year wide receiver. I don't think you have to give them a great selection because they're also getting Amari Cooper in return. So it's not a big drop-off from what Brandon Aiyuk's production was last year to Amari Cooper's. But you are getting a 6-year-older, 5 or 6-year-older wide receiver in Amari Cooper. So maybe a third. But to be honest with you, I do take pride in putting together what I think are fair and blueprint trade models on this show. By far, this is the toughest trade I've ever had to come up with what fair compensation could look like for both sides. So if you were Andrew Berry and you somehow got a phone call from the 49ers, John Lynch, and he said, we'll give you Aiyuk for Cooper in a third, would you do that? I mean, hard to say no, right? I mean, 25-year-old, whatever, all-pro wide receiver in a 32nd pass ranking offense giving up on, sure, Amari Cooper, who's been awesome for this team the last 2 years, but a 30-year-old wideout, right? You get to reset, and all it costs you is a third, and you also have to make Brandon Aiyuk the second, maybe third highest paid wide receiver in football. So there's pros and cons to it, but I don't think we have to get too emotional over a hypothetical trade that I just don't think is ever going to happen. So I'm still at the spot I started the video off at. Zero Bernie heads on the idea of Brandon Aiyuk getting shopped for Amari Cooper. Don't fall for NFL notifications. Don't fall for the scam Twitter accounts out there that loosely connect real NFL stories and just come up with their own ideas and spread it off as actual fact. I'm not going to believe that we've seen Amari Cooper, Brandon Aiyuk trade go down ever, let alone this offseason. So sorry to Browns fans hoping to get Aiyuk, or I doubt there's any 49ers fans that want to see that happen anyway. But yeah, zero Bernie heads. Now we're going to talk about Amari Cooper in more detail in just a second here, but we do have a really good deal going on at Fanatics, which is this awesome t-shirt combo, 40% off when you go to chatsports.com/CLE combo. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video, but if you want to get your paws on some new Browns gear for your closet while not breaking the bank, Go to chatsports.com/CLE combo. Get not one, but 2 shirts 40% off. I'm going to continue to beat the drum of I think this is what an Amari Cooper contract extension will look like. Maybe Amari Cooper kind of caves in and decides, you know what, I'll take just a 1-year contract extension. And if that's the case, it's probably going to be 1 year, $21 million, right? A slight pay increase from what he is making right now. Inflation, everyone else, why all the other wide receivers are getting paid more. That's pretty fair. But Amari Cooper, I think, is looking for a 2-year extension, right? He wants more than just 2025. He wants commitment to 2026 as well. And the Browns, I think, are open to committing to him for 2025. But 2026 is kind of where they appear to have drawn a line in the sand. So I think inevitably some sort of deal will get done. And when it gets done, we'll see who sort of caved. We had Brad Stainbrook a few days ago share the latest on the Amari Cooper holdout. He wrote, the negotiations are ongoing, but money is not the main issue. The Browns are willing to give Cooper an increased salary for this season. The sticking point is the length of the deal. The Browns have yet to offer Pro Bowl wide receiver Amari Cooper a contract extension longer than 1 year, a league source tells the OBR.com. My personal opinion is watch for an extension to get done sometime around the start of training camp, right? Everyone is kind of off for the next 6 weeks, enjoying a little summer break south of France. And then they'll come back and everyone will kind of get back to work in a little bit. And that's probably when you see Andrew Berry and Amari Cooper's agent get closer to an extension. When training camp rolls around and the Browns go, we don't have time to mess around anymore. Deshaun Watson is back, new offensive coordinator. Let's not split hairs over a couple of $1 million here or there. Let's get something done. And so I think you could see an extension get done sometime late July, early August. Nick Chubb wasn't holding out in 2021 when he got extended, but the Browns extended Chubb on July 31st of 2021. So we've seen Andrew Berry work on extension to the start of training camp, especially for star players. Amari Cooper fits that criteria. So that's just my personal guess as to when an extension will get done. Before we sign off, I do want to give some shout-outs to those of you that commented on our recent video. Mitch Booth got the trivia question correct on Terrell Pryor yesterday, so shout out to you, Mitch. Fonz63, Briscoe Brown, thank you guys so much for commenting. If you want to get a shout-out on a future episode, get in the comment section right now. Don't be afraid. Don't be a stranger. Let me know what you think about today's video, and we'll get you on screen for a future Cleveland Browns report. All right, let's welcome on producer Reed, who is like 1 for 5, which is an insane batting average for a 1 in 52 chance.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that.
Which card do you want to go with?
Let's go middle of the pack, 8 of clubs.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I hated the one that you got right, so I no longer have anything to stand on when it comes to
it would make sense that you don't like it.
Yeah. I'm dropping cards. Okay. One more cut, and then we're good to go. All right, you ready? I'm going to go with the Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades! Suck it! Let's go!
Let's go!
I'm back, baby!
He's
Let's
back.
go!
What
Amari
a
Cooper
pull.
extension. Right now, I got the Ace of Spades. That's how it works, Andrew. Get it done. Let's go. We're so back. What was your card?
8 of clubs.
Oh, it was 8 of hearts next. That would be cool too.
That was what I was gonna say first, but I was like, no, I'm gonna do 8 of clubs.
That feels good. I'm gonna ride that all night long.
Wow,
that feels great.
See, that's what I felt last time when I did it. I was like, holy crap.
I feel like the Pablo Escobar meme of he's all lonely sitting around. Like none of these people know that I got Ace of Spades correct. And I'm gonna walk around like a genius today, and no one's gonna be like, "You're the guy from the Browns report." Like I am. Thank you.
Got it right.
Yeah.
1 out of 52.
All right, we will sign off. We will see you guys later.